The proposition, the diplomatic station Harmony's Edge drifted in neutral space, its hull scarred from countless negotiations that had ended in failure. Ambassador Marcus Kane stood at the observation deck, watching the sleek Zephyrian vessel approach. 3 years of attempted peace talks had yielded nothing but mistrust and broken promises. The airlock hissed open, and she entered alone. Valari Nethys moved with liquid grace, her silver-scaled skin catching the artificial light. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, she possessed an otherworldly beauty that spoke of ancient nobility. Her violet eyes held depths that seemed to contain starlight itself, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of a dying civilization. "Ambassador Kane," she said, her accent musical yet cold. "I come not as a representative, but as myself." Marcus straightened his diplomatic uniform, trying to hide his confusion. "I don't understand. The Zephyrian Council sent you to—" "The Council knows nothing of this meeting." Valari's expression remained unreadable. 3 years we have danced. Around words, treaties, and empty promises. Your species speaks of peace while building warships. Mine speaks of trust while harboring ancient grudges. She moved closer, and Marcus caught the scent of ozone and starflowers. "I propose something different. One night, you and I, alone aboard my vessel. No politics, no protocols, just 2 beings attempting to understand each other." "I'm not sure." "That's appropriate." "You misunderstand my intention." Valari's eyes flashed. "This is not seduction, Ambassador. This is a test, one that could determine whether our species can coexist or whether we are destined to destroy each other." Marcus felt the weight of millions of lives pressing down on him. "What kind of test?" "The only one that matters." She turned toward the viewport, her reflection ghost-like in the transparent steel. "At dawn, this night ends. If you fail my test, I return to my people with confirmation that humans are incapable of true understanding. Our fleets will prepare for war, and I will forget your name. And if I pass?" Valari faced him again, and for the first time, he saw something vulnerable in her expression. "Then I will stand beside you when the darkness comes. I will be your voice among my people, your shield against their doubts." "What exactly is this test?" "Something your species claims to possess but has never proven." She moved toward the airlock. "Empathy, Ambassador. True, unfiltered empathy. Are you brave enough to feel what I have felt? To understand not just my words but my pain?" Marcus looked out at the stars, knowing that his answer would echo across the galaxy. "I accept." Valari nodded once. "Then come. Let us see if humanity truly has a heart." The memory chamber aboard. The Zephyrian vessel. Whispered dawn, Marcus marveled at the organic architecture that seemed grown rather than built. Bioluminescent veins pulsed through coral-like walls, and the air hummed with an almost living energy. Valari led him through winding corridors to a chamber that took his breath away. The room was spherical, its walls covered in crystalline formations that pulsed with soft light. At the center stood a device that resembled a tree made of silver and shadow, its branches reaching toward a canopy of stars visible through the transparent ceiling. "The Kethavari," Valari said, her voice reverent. "Memory tree, in your language. For 3,000 years, my people have used it to share experiences, to truly know one another." Marcus approached the device cautiously. "It reads minds?" "More than that." Valari began removing her ceremonial robes, revealing form-fitting bio-armor beneath. "It allows you to experience memories as if they were your own, not just to see what I have seen, but to feel what I have felt. Every emotion, every sensation, every moment of joy and sorrow that has shaped me. That sounds—" Marcus swallowed hard. "Invasive." "It is." Valari's fingers danced over the tree's surface, causing branches to extend toward them like beckoning arms. which is why it requires absolute trust. If you resist, if you try to shield yourself from the experience, it will tear your mind apart. Marcus watched as neural interfaces emerged from the branches, delicate tendrils that pulsed with their own rhythm. And you're willing to share your entire life with me? Not my entire life, just the parts that matter. The moments that will help you understand why my people fear yours, and why that fear might destroy us both. Valari's expression softened slightly. I must warn you, Marcus Kane. You will experience my pain as if it were your own. You will feel the weight of every loss, every betrayal, every moment of despair that has brought us to this precipice. Why are you doing this? Valari was quiet for a long moment, her violet eyes distant. Because I have seen something in you, something in your species, that gives me hope. Your people's capacity for compassion is legendary, even among those who distrust you. But legends are not enough. I need to know if it's real. She gestured to the interfaces. These will connect us to the Kethvari. Once activated, you will live through selected memories from my past. You will understand why the Zephyrian Council votes for war, why they believe humans cannot be trusted, why they would rather die fighting than risk another betrayal. Marcus reached for the nearest interface, its surface warm against his palm. How do I know this isn't some kind of trap? You don't. Valari took her own interface, the silver tendrils wrapping around her wrist like living jewelry. But ask yourself this. What would I gain by destroying the mind of one human diplomat? If I wanted you dead, there are simpler ways. Marcus nodded, understanding the logic even as fear crawled up his spine. If I fail this test, then you will understand why we must fight. Valari's eyes met his across the chamber. And perhaps that understanding will make the coming war less cruel. The interface is activated with a sound like distant music. Through alien eyes, the first memory hit Marcus like a physical blow, tearing away his sense of self and plunging him into an alien consciousness. He was Valari, young and eager, standing before the Council of Voices as they announced humanity's first diplomatic contact. Feel her hope, the memory whispered. Feel her joy. And he did. The overwhelming excitement of a species finally meeting their cosmic neighbors, the dreams of shared knowledge and peaceful exploration. He felt Valari's own fascination with these strange bipedal creatures who had somehow mastered faster-than-light travel despite their brief existence. The scene shifted. Now he was older, watching the first human delegation arrive at Zephyr Prime. Through Valari's eyes, he saw the wonder on their faces, the genuine awe at Zephyrian architecture and culture. He felt her growing affection for these curious, energetic beings who asked endless questions and laughed so easily. But the memory darkened. The humans who had seemed so sincere, so eager for friendship, were secretly mapping Zephyrian defenses. The trade agreements they proposed were designed to create economic dependence. Worst of all, they had lied about their intentions with the mineral rights on the outer colonies. Marcus screamed as he felt Valari's heartbreak, the crushing weight of betrayal that went beyond mere politics. The humans hadn't just broken treaties. They had shattered her faith in the possibility of interspecies friendship. The memories came faster now, each one a knife twist of pain. The Zephyrian colonies stripped bare by human mining operations. The refugees fleeing poisoned worlds, their bioluminescent scales dimming as they died from exposure to industrial toxins. Children born with genetic defects from contaminated water supplies. This is what your species did to mine, the memories seemed to say. This is why we cannot trust you. But there was more. Marcus felt Valari's desperate attempts to maintain hope, her secret meetings with moderate human factions who claimed to want change. He experienced her growing isolation as her own people branded her naive, then foolish, then dangerous for still believing in the possibility of peace. The worst memory came last. Valari's brother, Theron, dying in her arms after a human peacekeeping raid went wrong. His final words whispered through blood-frothed lips. "Sister, why did you trust them?" Marcus collapsed, Valari's anguish becoming his own. He felt the moment her heart crystallized into the cold resolve that now defined her. The instant she decided that emotion was a luxury her species could no longer afford. Through tears he hadn't realized he was shedding, Marcus felt the memory tree releasing its hold on his consciousness. But the emotions remained, raw and immediate. Valari's pain had become his own, and he understood with perfect clarity why the Zephyrian people wanted war. They weren't evil. They were wounded, betrayed by those they had trusted most. When Marcus finally opened his eyes, he found Valari watching him with an expression he couldn't read. Dawn was still hours away, but he already felt changed by what he had experienced. "Now, you know," she said quietly. "Now you understand why peace seems impossible." The weight of understanding. Marcus remained on his knees, shaking as waves of alien grief coursed through him. The memory tree's tendrils had withdrawn, but the emotional residue of Valari's experiences clung to his consciousness like shadows. Every breath felt like drowning. Every heartbeat echoed with the pain of an entire species. I can still feel it," he whispered, pressing his palms against his temples. "Your brother's blood, the children's suffering, the betrayal. It's like it happened to me." Valari stood motionless, her violet eyes studying his face with scientific precision. "The Kethvari leaves echoes. What you experienced was not mere observation. It was integration. Those memories are now part of you, as they are part of me." Marcus struggled to his feet, his legs unsteady. "How do you bear it? How do you function? With all that pain? By accepting that your species is incapable of true empathy." Valari's voice remained clinical, but Marcus caught the slight tremor beneath her words. "By understanding that this test would confirm what I already knew, that humans feel deeply in the moment but forget quickly when convenience calls." "You're wrong." Marcus wiped tears from his cheeks, meeting her gaze directly. "I won't forget. This. I can't. What your people endured, what you endured, it's part of me now." "Words," Valari said dismissively. "Human diplomats excel at words. Your predecessors spoke beautifully of friendship, while their corporations ravaged our worlds." Marcus moved closer, his voice gaining strength. "Then don't listen to my words. Look at my actions. I'm here, aren't I? I submitted to your test knowing it might destroy my mind. Would someone incapable of empathy do that? Perhaps. If the stakes were high enough." But uncertainty flickered in Valari's expression. "Survival makes creatures do remarkable things. This isn't about survival. This is about understanding." Marcus gestured to the memory tree. "You could have shown me propaganda, edited highlights designed to make your case. Instead, you showed me raw truth. You trusted me with your deepest pain." Valari's composure cracked slightly. "I trusted you with nothing. I shared what was necessary to prove a point. You shared your brother's death." Marcus's voice softened. "That wasn't strategic, Valari. That was personal. You let me feel your love for him, your guilt over his loss. You showed me the moment your heart broke. Because I needed you to understand the consequences of human betrayal." "No," Marcus said quietly. "Because despite everything you've endured, part of you still hopes. Part of you wants to believe that understanding is possible." Valari turned, away, her silver scales shimmering with agitation. "Hope is a luxury I cannot afford." "Then why are we here? Why this test at all?" Marcus moved to stand beside her, both of them facing the star-filled viewport. "If you truly believed humans were irredeemable, You would have recommended war to your council months ago. Instead, you're here, giving us one last chance. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the ship's organic humming. Finally, Valari spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I have dreams, she admitted. Dreams of my brother, of the children who died, of all the futures that were stolen. They ask me the same question. What if you were wrong? What if there was another way? Marcus felt his heart clench with empathy, not the artificial echo of the memory tree, but his own genuine response to her vulnerability. I dream too, he said, of the wars that could come, of the species that might never meet because we destroyed each other first, but also of the possibilities, joint colonies, shared knowledge, children who grow up thinking alien just means different, not enemy. Valari's reflection in the viewport showed tears tracking down her scaled cheeks. The test isn't over, Marcus Kane. Dawn approaches, and with it, the moment of truth. Dawn's revelation. The first light of the nearby star began to creep across the viewport, painting the chamber in shades of gold and amber. Marcus and Valari stood in silence, both changed by the night's revelations. The memory tree had gone dormant, its crystalline branches no longer pulsing with bioluminescent energy. Marcus felt the weight of Valari's experiences settling into his soul like sediment in still water. The pain remained, Theron's dying breath, the children's suffering, the crushing betrayal, but alongside it grew something else: purpose. Dawn arrives, Valari said, her voice carefully neutral. Time for judgment. Marcus turned to face her, fully, seeing not the cold diplomat who had boarded his station, but a being carved hollow by loss yet somehow still capable of hope. What exactly are you looking for? What would constitute passing your test? I thought I knew. Valari's violet eyes searched his face. I expected you to experience my memories, express appropriate sympathy, and then attempt to rationalize your species' actions, to feel momentary guilt, but ultimately prioritize human interests. And instead? Instead, you grieve. She moved closer, studying him like a puzzle she couldn't solve. Your tears are not of pity, they are of true sorrow. You carry my pain, now not as an observer but as a participant. That is unexpected. Marcus wiped his face, surprised to find it still wet. Your brother asked why you trusted us. I think I understand now. You trusted us because you saw something in humanity that even we don't always see in ourselves, which is the capacity for genuine change. Marcus's voice grew stronger. Yes, humans have done terrible things. We've been selfish, short-sighted, cruel. But we're also capable of growth, of learning from our mistakes. The humans who betrayed your people, they don't represent all of us any more than warmongers represent all Zephyrians. Valari was quiet for a long moment, her bioluminescent scales shifting through subtle color changes that Marcus now recognized as indicators of deep emotion. You speak truly, she said finally, but truth is not enough. Even if you personally have changed, even if you genuinely carry my people's pain, what of the others? What of the politicians and corporations that will make the real decisions? Marcus smiled, and for the first time it reached his eyes. Then we change them too. One person at a time, one memory at a time. Your Kethvari technology, what if we used it to help human leaders truly understand what their policies cost? What if we made empathy not just an ideal, but a requirement for interspecies contact? You would submit your own people to the memory tree? I would submit myself again, if necessary. Marcus's conviction rang clear. And I would ask every human diplomat, every corporate executive, every politician who deals with alien species to do the same. True understanding requires true vulnerability. Valari stepped back, her expression unreadable. The chamber fell silent, except for the distant hum of the ship's systems. Dawn light now filled the room, casting everything in warm, golden tones. "The test is concluded," she said formally. Marcus held his breath, feeling the weight of two civilizations balanced on this moment. Then Valari smiled, the first genuine expression of joy Marcus had seen from her. She stepped forward and took his hand, her scaled fingers intertwining with his. "You have passed, Marcus Kane. More than passed. You have given me something I thought lost forever." "What's that?" "Hope. Real hope. Built on understanding rather than wishful thinking." Her grip tightened. "I will stand beside you when the darkness comes. I will be your voice among my people, your shield against their doubts. Together, perhaps we can build something neither species could achieve alone." As the sun fully rose, painting them both in light, Marcus felt the first seeds of true peace taking root. The test was over. The real work was just beginning.